Well, welcome back to America Decide. Thanks for staying with us. As the confirmation hearing for his likely successor, Pam Bondi, continued today on Capitol Hill, Attorney General Merrick Garland used his farewell remarks to talk about not only his role within the Justice Department, but that of those career personnel within it.
It is the obligation of the Attorney General to understand that the Attorney General is only a temporary steward of this department and that its heart and soul is its career workforce. The Attorney General must not just lead this department's workforce, but must respect it, and when necessary, defend it.
Scott MacFarlane joins us now. Scott, as buffeted as any Attorney General of recent memory has been by criticism, political wins, scrutiny of decisions made by the Justice Department, scrutiny of decisions not rapidly enough made by the Justice Department, how would you summarize, if you could, Merrick Garland's legacy?
I was in the room for Merrick Garland's farewell speech. The FBI director, the outgoing, right next to him. His deputies right next to him, a room full of well-wishers, including federal judges, by the way, of which he was one. There was this needle he threaded in the worst possible way at times, where he was getting criticism from Trump and his allies, and then criticism from Trump's opponents for not more aggressively and more punctually getting a special counsel appointed to prosecute Donald Trump. But I think Merrick Garland's legacy, as crystallized in his final remarks today, and as he said declaratively, is that respect for the law, it's bigger than any individual. And America is bigger than any one person, and that the system has been preserved over the last 4 years, which is not an inconsequential thing considering what happened January 6, 2021.
And don't write the obituaries now. Let's wait a few years and see what this incoming Trump administration means about non-politicization of the Justice Department and whether that stands the test of scrutiny, and compare it to what he did. That's basically where he left things.
That's right.
Scott, we went to break talking about this bill signed into law by President Biden about a plaque on Capitol Hill commemorating January 6, 2021. Catch us up on what's happening, hasn't happened, and the continued dialogue therein.
It seems like a small thing, except to those who are behind getting this plaque erected on the walls of the Capitol, it's an enormous thing. It was such an important thing to the Congress in 2022 to honor the police heroes and the police victims from January 6th. They wrote it into law that a plaque must be made and a plaque must be put on the west front of the Capitol where the worst of the fighting occurred. Well, that requirement was for it to be hung in 2023. Here we are 2 years later. The plaque has been made. You're seeing it on the screen. It has not been hung. Republicans have controlled the Congress since 2023. At least they've controlled the U.S. House. And Democrats are quite certain that the House Speaker is slow-walking this, if not trying to kill off this project of hanging the plaque, because Donald Trump will be standing on the west front of the Capitol on Monday, taking the oath. Brought my questions to the House Speaker today, said, is this thing ever going to get hung? He's been asked this question several times over the past week, and he says, I haven't looked into that yet. No indication, no timetable. It has been made. It is truly
the very description of slow walking.
I think that's right. And
let's just cut to the chase.
I mean, Democrats think that there's a declarative answer he can give. We're going to do it on this day, we're going to do it on this week, or we're not going to do it at all, even though it's mandated by law.
And to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, this has no names on it. It has the various representative agencies that were called in or called upon. The two at the top are Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police, and then lots of others. It's agency names. We're not talking about one person or another. It's just everyone who came in when the call for help came not just from Democrats, but from Republicans to save the Capitol.
Not only does it not have the names of individual officers, but only the police departments that helped. Some police officers are happy they're not named because police officers will be menaced, harassed, and threatened for their roles, even if they were injured on January 6th. If we have a moment, I wanted to hear from Benny Thompson. He chaired the House January 6th Select Committee. He had some thoughts on this plaque dispute.
Well, it's the politics of where we are. Those same individuals who are opposing it are the ones always talking about back in the blue and supporting law enforcement and all that. We lost lives. Members of the Capitol Police had to retire because of injuries received. And I just think it's so unfortunate that the delay of putting that plaque is where it is, because that's not who we are as a country.
Major, another House Democrat, told me this will likely not happen until Democrats have control of the House again in 2, 4, however many years.
However many years. Scott MacFarlane, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you.